Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me today. We are going to discuss arranged marriages. I was fortunate enough to interview Dr. Kumari Verghese and ask her about her experience with being in an arranged marriage in comparison to the non-arranged marriages here in the United States. I also did a literature review about arranged marriages and have some other information to give you as well. This is Dr. Kumari Verghese, and this is her husband, who she was set up with. She was 2 months from being 25, and he was 4 months from being 28. She said they were married in September of 1972. I asked Dr. Verghese what it was like growing up and knowing that she was going to be in an arranged marriage. She said that she accepted this from the beginning and knew that it was normal in her culture and that she was accepting and felt comfortable and confident that she would be set up with somebody that was compatible for her. Her parents and her grandparents had both done this, and she, again, felt confident that this was the best way for her. I asked her, what did she learn? When did she learn about other cultures and that marriages were different? So she said that when she went to medical school, she dated and she saw other people that dated and then went off to get married. But she said that she had the option of choosing her own partner and getting married, or her parents choosing for her and they let her decide. So she chose to be in an arranged marriage. She was not forced into that. I also asked her what the process was, what her fears were, and how would she compare arranged marriages versus non-arranged marriages that she has been around here in the United States. So, again, she said that she felt comfortable. She said that the process is that a family friend or a mutual friend of two different families or an acquaintance introduces, the family brings up another person. So Dr. Verghese's family was introduced to this other family, and they had the same socioeconomic status, the same religion, and they were shown a picture of each other, and they liked what they saw, and so then they met. Right after they meet, it's not just them meeting, it's the families. So the families meet, and as long as everyone gets along and the two people are interested in each other, then they set a date for engagement, like an engagement gathering, and then they set a wedding date and they get married. So they kind of fall in love afterwards. They get married based on other things. She said that she didn't have any fears that were any different than any other person. She actually felt more confident because their religion and their socioeconomic status was similar. So whereas here in the United States, a lot of times religion and race and financial status, all of those things can sometimes cause a conflict between families and between couples. And so in this situation, all of that was already done. It was already passed. So that was something she didn't have to worry about. Another thing she said is that the two families were very, very supportive of she and her husband. They encouraged them to be married. They encouraged them to move on and have a family. But they were able to be very supported always by both sides of the family. So they went into the marriage without struggling to start a new life together. So she felt very confident and happy with the partner that was chosen for her, and she did have a choice in that. Again, Dr. Verghese was 24 and he was 27. There they are after they got married, Dr. Verghese and Mr. Verghese. Part of what I read about in a literature review is that many people in the United States marry for love, but in colonial America, arranged marriages were to secure economic status. It wasn't based on love to start with. Another point that I found is that 44% of women in various cultures have arranged marriages, and 17% of men from various cultures have arranged marriages. Most of what Dr. Verghese was able to tell me was positive. Unfortunately, I did find in some of the literature that if the marriages fail, there's an intense feeling of shame, and it's not only because it's two people, it is because the family was so involved that they feel shameful too that the two people did not work out. Another unfortunate note that I found is that in India, some women are burned to death because their financial contributions are not adequate enough for the new family, and so sometimes they're murdered. A couple of other notes that I found is that arranged marriages then can be compared to online dating now. In online dating, you show pictures, you tell people about your job, what town you live in, and that kind of thing. And so people learn about you before they actually meet you. So that's something that you can compare today to back then, and even currently in some cultures where they do arranged marriages. So thankfully, Dr. Verghese was kind enough to do this interview with me. This is Dr. Verghese, and this is me. She's a pleasure to work with, and she was happy to do this interview, and I really appreciate it. And thank you all for being here.